From WREG in Memphis. This is Newschannel 3 at 10.
I want them to get caught. Definitely.
And her wish has been granted. Tonight on Newschannel 3 at 10, the fear is over for suburban neighborhoods after a rash of vehicle break-ins. A look at who police say played a role in these thefts. Plus, residents at one Memphis apartment complex are glad some action is being taken after they've gone years with little to no progress on conditions there. How tenants at the Memphis Towers apartments hope that the tour District Attorney Steve Mulroy took will lead to some progress. And a clean slate for many offenders in Shelby County as an expungement clinic was held today, but not only was a clean record being provided there. We'll tell you what else this clinic had to offer next. But before we get to those stories, a woman is facing multiple charges after the shooting death of a toddler in the New Chicago area. Hi there, good evening to you. I'm Noah Sershin. Thanks for being with us tonight. Juanita Bruce is also charged with injuring the toddler's mother during that shooting. New tonight, we have learned new and disturbing details about this shooting. Officers claim that the 18-month-old girl was inside the backseat of her mother's car when they found her dead with a gunshot wound to the chest. Her mother was found laying on the ground outside of the car. She had been shot in the leg. Police say that a 1-year-old and 4-year-old were also inside the car when the child was killed. They were not physically injured at the time of the shooting, but a third person in the area at that time was grazed by a bullet. Police say that when Bruce turned herself in, she confessed to the shootings but told police that she did not mean to hit the baby. WREG's Marcus Hunter has reactions from people who live in that area.
Memphis police say 19-year-old Juanita Bruce has been charged with first-degree murder in the death of an 18-month-old and 4 counts of attempted first-degree murder. The shooting happened in the area of Breedlove Street and Chicago Avenue. People who live in the apartment complex near where the shooting happened say neither the suspect nor the victim lived at the complex. They say they met up in the area to fight.
Parties got to fighting, and one party parked there with kids in the car, and the other party came back and just started shooting.
He says that there were other children in the vehicle when the shooting happened. When police arrived, he said he saw them pulling kids out of the car.
There was other kids in the car because the police, they said for a long time, the police had to take the kids and take them back to their gardens up here, up into this, right here to this pole right here.
He said not only did the suspect fire into the car that was occupied by children, but there's also a playground within feet from where the shooting happened.
It's right there. And she unloaded that many shots. Who's down there playing, you know? Bullet don't have a name on it.
The toddler that was shot was pronounced dead on the scene. An adult female was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Witnesses say the 2 women appeared to be close in age.
They just starting their life. They just touched adulthood. And you do something like this, your life is over. Thank God she did turn herself in.
In North Memphis, Marcus Hunter, WREG News Channel 3.
Such an awful case there. Marcus, thanks. Bruce is also facing several firearms charges. She will appear in court Monday morning for her arraignment. In a crime alert, 7 people are behind bars tonight after Southaven police responded to a report of shoplifting at the Sportsman's Warehouse on Marathon Way Friday night. 7 people were arrested on multiple charges, including shoplifting and conspiracy to commit a crime. More charges may be filed as police go further in the investigation. A minor was also involved in the shoplifting. Marco Gentry is charged with possession of a stolen firearm and possession of a controlled substance with the intent to distribute. Ladarius Marbley and Montarius Woods are also charged with carrying a firearm. Draper Newell and Kydre Bernard are also charged with possession of a controlled substance with the intent to distribute. A man was arrested for punching a 10-year-old in the face several times. This happened last night around midnight when Memphis police responded to an assault call on Starwood Drive off of Oak Bend Road. When officers arrived, Nicholas G. was in the living room with the 10-year-old boy. According to the affidavit, the boy was throwing a toy around inside the home. G then got upset, walked up to the boy, and began punching him in the face multiple times. Police discovered a large knot on the right side of the child's face. G was arrested and charged with child abuse and neglect and domestic assault with bodily harm. G has a court date scheduled for Monday. New tonight at 10, the man charged in connection with a spree of vehicle burglaries over the span of 2 days in Memphis suburbs is behind bars tonight. As we've uncovered tonight, car burglaries aren't the only thing he is charged with, and he was already being searched for on unrelated charges.
tonight, 19-year-old Keyshawn Ayers is at 201 Poplar after Shelby County Sheriff's deputies charged him in connection to 70 car burglaries within the span of 2 days in Arlington. According to court documents, a man told deputies that his Ford F-250 had been stolen in front of his home. He saw it at his house around 9 p.m. Tuesday and thought that a spare key was inside the truck at the time of the break-in. One of the neighborhoods where Ayers broke into was the Village at White Oaks in Arlington, where neighbors Tuesday morning woke up to shattered glass in their driveway. One man we spoke with Wednesday said that the driver's side of his daughter's car was smashed. Luckily, no valuables were left inside the car. And while these vehicle break-ins happened under the cover of darkness, residents have security cameras like these to thank, capturing Keyshawn Ayers in the act. Ayers already had warrants out for his arrest. When detectives and agents with the U.S. Marshals located Ayers, they found him with a stolen Ford F-250. When he was searched, detectives found the keys to the truck and a gun inside his pockets. They also recovered an AR-style rifle on the floorboard of the truck and a .44 Magnum handgun in the driver's door panel. With violent crimes down this year and an uptick in property crimes, one Arlington resident says that he wants the punishments for these crimes to be more severe.
I'd like to see the prosecution and the punishments be stepped up, and that the repeat offenders just be dealt with.
Reporting in Arlington, Noah Sershin, WRVG News, Channel 3.
Ayers' bond was set at $75,000. He was bonded out of jail. His next court date is on Monday. The Shelby County Sheriff's Office has tips to decrease your chances of your vehicle getting burglarized. You can find these tips on our website, WREG.com, when you click on this story. It's been a busy weather day in the weather department as we saw some pretty strong storms overnight and clear skies today, but when will it finally start to feel like fall? Weather expert Tim Simpson has the answer in our first check of the forecast.
Overnight, last night into early this morning, we were here tracking these storms. We had a lot of tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, and the good news is that by the time that line of storms reached the Mississippi River, things were starting to wane as we got into the early morning hours, so not near as intense. That being said, a lot of heavy rainfall and also some gusty winds. Clear skies here in Memphis right now. This is the Hilton Memphis camera. We're showing no precipitation across the Mid-South. Now, there's still a little bit of cloud cover, mainly east of Memphis for tonight. The rest of the area mostly clear. Here's the rain from earlier this morning. Showers, thunderstorms, power outages and such, but fortunately no tornado warnings here, nothing of that nature. Temperatures range from 46 in Oxford, Mississippi to 51 here in Memphis, still 61 degrees, and a little cloud cover still over in the Corinth, Mississippi area. In Memphis, our temperatures drop into the low 50s, maybe even into the upper 40s by about daybreak tomorrow morning. Clearing tonight, patchy fog, cool temperatures overnight, mostly sunny skies for tomorrow with some late showers in the forecast. We'll talk about that. Plus, there is a major, and I do mean major, cool down in the extended forecast just ahead.
All right, Tim, we'll see you in a few seconds. For years, us here at WREG have told you about the problems at the Memphis Towers apartment complex. We've told you about tenants being without water. Now new tonight at 10, newly elected District Attorney Steve Mulroy toured the troubled apartment complex. WREG was the only station there when the DA took a visit. Our Jordan James was there with the District Attorney. He joins us now live tonight with a story you'll only see on 3. And Jordan, what does Steve Mulroy have to say about the conditions after his tour?
Hey, he says that this visit has been months in the making, and after coming here, he said there is certainly room for improvements.
For years, Yvonne Collins has called Memphis Towers Apartments home.
9 years and I was never late on my rent.
Despite her self-proclaimed punctuality, Collins is homeless after she claims speaking to WREG previously about tenants being without water led to retaliation by property managers.
They just told me because you were on the Channel 3 News, we don't think you'll get a lease. And I never got one. I'm in a homeless shelter for another week and a half, and then I'll be back out on the street.
The management company has previously disputed her claims about not being able to sign a new lease. Situations like Collins has had to endure is why the Memphis Tenants Union has been working with residents to improve their living conditions over the last year.
It's a travesty what tenants are facing, and nobody deserves to feel insecure, unsafe, in their own home.
As a part of their outreach initiative, Memphis Tenants Union brought Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy to the tour of the complex Friday.
I saw
exposed wiring, and areas of disrepair. The community room was completely covered up with storage, so it wasn't really usable as a community room.
Currently, Memphis Towers is undergoing a $17 million renovation. Once completed, residents are expected to move into new units along with security upgrades. Meanwhile, Morer says he will be watching to see if the complex lives up to its word.
We're going to have to consult with attorneys who specialize in this area, maybe do some further investigation, and then see if we think that there are any legal violations that are within our jurisdiction.
Although tenants like Collins no longer call this place home, at the end of the day, she cares what happens to residents.
I want Steve Mulroy to do something to help these people in this building so they will be safe. Just make them safe.
In a statement to WRAG, the company that managed the apartment complex says the building is in compliance and they are happy to have a conversation with the DA. Reporting here live in the Medical District, Jordan James, WRAG, News Channel 3.
Jordan, thanks. Reproductive rights are a big topic this election season, and today sorority sisters joined together to talk about it. The Alpha Gamma chapter of the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority hosted the Sister to Sister Pink Table Talk Reproductive Rights Forum in the Raleigh Community Center. Local and state representatives were there along with advocates who discussed reproductive rights, social justice, and human rights as a part of that roundtable.
This was an issue that I felt like we need to have a conversation about. So I really wanted to bring it to the forefront and bring it to the attention of our community that it's other ways to think about this. It's not just about abortions, but what are our rights? What resources do we have?
The Shelby County Voter Alliance was also there for voter registration as well as to encourage participation. Well, hundreds of Memphians got a fresh start today. That's because Shelby County Criminal Court Clerk Heidi Kuhn, along with the DA's office, held an expungement clinic. This was the 18th expungement clinic. Since 2018, more than 500 people have been able to expunge their records through the clinic.
When you look at it, it's really not expunging just one person. It's expunging a family, a community, so that person is able to provide for their family and not go back to a life of crime.
Not only was a clean slate being offered, but people who attended today's clinic had the chance to apply to jobs. Other resources were also given, like job searching materials along with child support, traffic fines, and fees, and recruiting for the electrician's apprentice program, which could lead to jobs at Ford's new Blue Oval City.
On Tuesday, let's make sure our country doesn't get set back 50 years.
A lot is on stake this Tuesday for the Democrats as multiple polls show a coin toss win in highly watched races around the country. Find out how President Biden and former President Barack Obama are making their last-pitched efforts to voters in rallies across the country. Plus, firefighters go on a daring rescue as they climb a high-rise apartment building to rescue tenants from a fire. What caused this fire and how many people were injured? And tonight's the night. You get an extra hour of sleep, and while that may sound good for some, the time change can be hard for others. What you need to know if you or someone you love struggles with seasonal depression, next on the news at 10.
The #1 10 p.m. newscast, WREG News Channel 3.
Welcome back. On this final weekend before the midterm elections, the party's strongest messengers hit the campaign trail focusing on one state, Pennsylvania. The political heavyweights are rallying voters in a race that could define the future of this nation well beyond this election. Tonight, President Biden rallied with former President Obama in Philadelphia. CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns is in Philadelphia with the latest on rallies for both parties.
We're setting our clocks back tomorrow by an hour. On Tuesday, let's make sure our country doesn't get set back 50 years.
Obama laying out the stakes first in Pittsburgh. Biden starting his day in the Chicago suburbs.
We've got to step up. We've got to make sure we protect the American people.
The headwinds facing Democrats are strong, and incumbents in several states are locked in close races. Even with news Friday of improved jobs numbers, voters remain anxious about rising costs of goods and gas.
Right now, the economy is in an awful state. I feel that the prices have gone up, in everything. When I go to the grocery store, it's absolutely horrendous.
Fetterman responding to voters' economic concerns by swiping at corporate America.
I think it's even much more critical to push back against the kind of the corporate greed and the price gouging as well. True.
While Oz has focused his closing message around crime.
We have families all over the Commonwealth worried about crime. So much so they won't send their kids outside.
The Keystone State is critical to Republicans' hopes of reclaiming a majority in the Senate and stopping the Biden agenda. Without it, the GOP would have to flip 2 other battlegrounds. Races in Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona remain toss-ups.
That was Caitlin Huey-Burns reporting, and while Trump may be rallying in Pennsylvania for Oz and other candidates, he's also eyeing a 2024 presidential run later this month. Well, early voting is now over in Tennessee, and the numbers are now in. According to the Shelby County Election Commission, more than 120,000 ballots were casted during early voting. That's lower than last midterm election. If you didn't get to cast your ballot during early voting, you can do so this Tuesday, November 8th. And school districts across Tennessee will be closed on Election Day. That includes Memphis Shelby County schools. State law says that public buildings like schools can work with county election commissions to provide polling locations for general November elections. The law requires the district to close during Election Day. Memphis Shelby County Schools has several schools serving as polling locations. The Shelby County Election Commission is saying tonight that 50 incorrect ballots were casted during early voting at one polling location before the error was ever discovered. The incorrect ballots were casted at the Berglaries Church of Christ polling location. The ballot there incorrectly listed a congressional race. The Election Commission says the outcome of the race will only be affected if there is less than a 50-vote margin between 2 candidates in the congressional race. Friends and family got to say their final goodbyes to State Representative Barbara Cooper today. Cooper was the oldest serving state lawmaker in Tennessee history. She represented District 86, which covered parts of Memphis and Millington. Her funeral was at the Immaculate Conception Cathedral. It was a daring rescue by firefighters in New York City. This was the scene outside of the 20th floor of an apartment that caught on fire in Manhattan. Black smoke forced dangling firefighters to use ropes to lower this woman to safety in the apartment below. The city's fire commissioner says that at least 38 people, including 5 firefighters, were hurt. Officials say a lithium-ion battery on a scooter or bike sparked the fire. Highly unusual November warmth really continued to build across the eastern third of the country. You're looking at video out of Oklahoma where authorities tell us 1 person is dead and several others were injured after tornadoes pummeled that area. The governor of Texas tweeted a message offering his condolences to the families of those that lost their lives in this tornado. Search and rescue teams are continuing their observations. The tornado also impacted parts of Texas. Well, lighter mornings and darker evenings are on the way as daylight savings time comes to an end this year. At 2 a.m. Sunday, U.S. clocks will turn back 1 hour and revert back to standard time. Lawmakers are debating whether the long-standing tradition should be eliminated altogether. The Senate approved the bipartisan Sunshine Protection Act in March, which would make daylight savings time permanent, but the bill has been stalled in the House. Now, the end of daylight savings time means that you will see less daylight for your daily activities like your jog. Here are some tips a doctor has on preventing seasonal depression during this time. They say to reach out to a family or friend to talk to or even consider seeing a therapist. Doctors also suggest getting out during the day. Make plans to spend time with family and friends during the evening. If you or someone you know are having difficulties and need immediate action, there is always someone available to talk to. The Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All you have to do is call the number 988 on your phone. Winter is coming and you can help hundreds of children around the Mid-South have a coat to stay warm. You can do this by donating to our annual Tim's Coats for Kids drive as time is running out. You can drop off your new or gently used coats or jackets now through Thursday, November 10th. You can drop off your coats to several locations around the Memphis area. We're looking for all different sizes from infant coats all the way up to adult sizes. For a full list of drop-off locations, visit our website WREG.com and click on the Tim's Coats for Kids tab.
Hey, clear skies on the tower cam tonight. It's a beautiful evening here in Memphis. We're glad you're with us on News Channel 3 at 10. Temperatures in the 50s to the north, 40s to the south. Here in Memphis, our current temperature is 51 degrees. We have calm winds, 92% relative humidity. And on the almanac from today, our high temperature was early this morning at 72 degrees. Temperatures dropping as that cold front came through with those showers and thunderstorms. And there's our precip total, 1.61 here in Memphis. Other totals here, let's zoom on in if I could real quick on Storm Tracker 3S weather radar. We've got estimates here, 165, 3/4 of an inch, about an inch and a quarter Blytheville, inch and a half up toward Jonesboro. So some pretty good rainfall totals from last night. No rainfall at the moment. We are seeing a few clouds, a few to the north, most of those off to the east of us. But watch these showers and thunderstorms as they came through during the early morning hours. I mean, we had a tornado watch across areas of Arkansas, Louisiana. We had multiple tornado warnings early this morning. But really, as those storms pushed a little bit closer to Memphis into more stable air, we saw a lot of those storms just diminish. And so even though we picked up the heavy rain and the gusty winds, we didn't pick up severe weather here, thank goodness. Here's the frontal boundary that went through the area, but watch what happens here. This front actually starts jutting back northward as a stationary front. No problems for tomorrow, but later on tomorrow night into early Monday morning, we're going to see some showers near that frontal boundary, so about a 20-30% chance for some showers. So you're going to need the umbrella, it looks like, at some point on Monday, possibly as early as Monday morning. No rain expected for tomorrow, but watch what happens as we get into Monday morning. Yeah, 0.13 of an inch here in Memphis, about a ½ inch up toward Jonesboro, higher amounts up around the Dyersburg area. So we're not done quite with the rainfall. So as far as planning for your temperatures here, we got the numbers for tomorrow morning starting out in the 40s, low 50s. We'll see temperatures in the mid 60s late tomorrow night with that rain coming in, something like that as we head into your Monday afternoon. So forecast for tonight, mostly clear skies and cool temperatures, 48 degrees here in the city for the overnight low, with some patchy fog. Want to make sure that we've got that in the forecast as well. Be alert to that if you're traveling late tonight, early tomorrow morning. 74 tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, some showers Monday, in particular in the morning hours. Tuesday, 77 degrees for the high temperature, overnight lows in the 60s. Watch what happens, though, in this 7-day forecast. We've got some cooler numbers coming in for Friday and Saturday with temperatures in the 50s, even some 40s possible a week from today. Overnight lows will start dropping back into the 30s. The rest of our forecast here, the +3 day, what we call the +3, it's the 10-day forecast. More cool weather for next week. Low 50s, overnight lows in the 30s. So yeah, we've been blessed with some really nice days here across Memphis and the Mid-South. This November's been okay, but boy, we're about to cool off big time next week.
Thanks, Tim. Well, the Memphis Tigers were hoping to pull out a win at their homecoming game today against UCF. What went wrong this afternoon, and how many more games the Tigers need to win to be eligible for a bowl game? Stay with us. Sports is coming up next.
Now, Colin Cody with News Channel 3 Sports.
Working on the weekend like usual is Memphis Tigers head coach Penny Hardaway Saturday night, getting some big-time recruits with 5-star guard Mikey Williams and 4-star wing J.J. Taylor, giving them verbal commits via Instagram. So that's the basketball team. The football team, well, they understood the assignment this week, fresh off the bye week, knowing that it will be a very physical battle against number 25 Central Florida, hoping to right the ship and avoid a 4-game skid. It's the last meeting between the two as foes in the American. With the Knights joining the Big 12 next season, first drive for UCF, Mikey Keene hands off to R.J. Harvey. Somehow he gets around this Memphis offense, this defensive line, bounces to the outside and takes it in for the 22-yard score. Knights would strike first, 7-0. 5 minutes later on the Tigers' next drive, from the 7, Brandon Thomas ties things up at 7 apiece. And after a turnover on downs for Memphis, Mikey Keene, well, this time he's feeling the pressure. So he throws it, and he is picked off by Davion Ross. That's the 10th interception this season for Memphis. But their drive would not last long as Seth Hennigan throws a pick, so it's back to UCF on the 4 now. Isaiah Bowser in a Wildcat, flicks it over the top to a wide open Stephen Martin to regain the lead. Next Tiger possession, Hennigan on the 1-yard keeper and is knotted up at 14 once more. UCF led 21-14 at the break. Tigers trailing by 14 in the fourth with 5 minutes to go. Hennigan scanning, and this time he hits Joseph Skates for a 14-yard score to bring Memphis within 7, but Memphis falls short 35-28. Another tough loss for Memphis. With this here, our sports director at Bank Simmons Stadium is Mike Sadie.
The Tigers 19-3 in their last 22 November games. They were 8-1 in their last 9 home games against ranked opponents and 10-0 coming off a bye week. Unfortunately, the only number that matters now is 4, as in a 4-game losing streak for this Tiger program for the first time since 2013.
To say, oh, we keep losing, drop your head, feel like it is the right mindset to have, and nobody on this football team have this mindset. All my brothers ready to come ball out every week and to win the game. That's what we want to do. We want to win. We want to be a great program, and at the end of the day, what's going on right now is unacceptable, but we gonna figure it out.
This one, like so many this year, about missed opportunities. 3 times in the first half, the Tigers were inside the UCF 10 and came away with no points. Stuffed on 4th and 1, a ricochet interception, and a missed field goal. Then the questionable call to go for it on 4th and 16 at the UCF 39. Instead of trying to pin the Knights deep, UCF got the stop and scored on the short field, taking the lead for good.
At that point, we had to find a way on that plus 50, and that was almost the approach going into this game. Anytime we crossed the 50, we were going to have to be very, very aggressive. At that point, I wasn't even looking at analytics or anything like that. It was just what I thought was best for our team at that point. And obviously, we didn't get it done.
Close loss. It seems like that's been the moral of the last 4 weeks. Close loss, but, you know, a loss is a loss, so need to do better.
So, Colin, some dark times right now here at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, and a short turnaround for the Tigers, who are right back here Thursday night to take on Tulsa. The U of M needing 2 wins in its final 3 games if it hopes to go bowling for a 9th straight season. At Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, Mike Sadie, News Channel 3 Sports.
Thanks, Mike. Now to potentially the biggest game of the year in college football, the top-ranked team in the college football playoffs, the Tennessee Vols and the defending national champs, number 3, Georgia, meeting between the hedges in Athens. Opening drive of the game, Georgia's Dejon Edwards. This time, well, as a running back, you don't want to do this. He's caught in the backfield by the orange and white. Not only does he lose yards, he's coughed up the football as well. The Vols recover, but they only get 3 points out of that drive. Next, go around for the Dogs. Stetson Bennett dodges tacklers en route to the end zone for the 13-yard score. Dogs on top, 7-0. It was 7-3. Later in the first quarter, Georgia on the Vols 37. Bennett going deep to Ladd McConkey, and deep. Makes it a 14-7 ball game in the end zone. Georgia leads 24-6 into halftime. Fourth quarter, Jalen Wright gets the 5-yard keeper for the first touchdown of the night, and that'll do it. First time in 20 games, Hendon Hooker didn't have a touchdown pass. The Vols suffer their first loss of the season, 27-13. Now in Fayetteville, a familiar face on the sidelines for Liberty, former Rebel head coach Hugh Freeze in his 4th season with the Flames. Razorbacks seeking their 3rd win in a row, picking up in the second half.
Rarely see him
Liberty on top, 21-5, midway through the 4. KJ Jefferson finds Trey Knox, first touchdown of the game. Arkansas still with work to do, 90 seconds to go on the clock. Jefferson keeping his eyes downfield. This time to the back of the end zone, and guess who? It's Knox again. He brings that down, so they're trailing by 2. Going for it, the time. Jefferson takes a snap, and he's stuffed short at the goal line, and that slow start is costly for the Razorbacks as they fall 21-19. Now Brian Harrison out at Auburn this week, and look, they responded in a big way. This game is in the 4th quarter, tied up with Mississippi State 33-all. And after Mississippi State led 24-3. But we'll have much more News Channel 3 at 10 right after this.
Hey, we've got some good weather for tomorrow. Rain chances will increase late tomorrow night into Monday, a 30% chance of showers. And then as we get into next week, temps in the 70s for highs, but man, look at Friday and Saturday. We're going to cool off big time with highs in the 40s and 50s, overnight lows in the 30s.
All right, get ready to bundle up. Thanks, Tim. Hey, that will do it tonight for the news at 10. We thank you for joining us. Daybreak with Marcus Hunter starts tomorrow at 5:30 a.m. We'll see you then. Take care. Good night, everyone.